Hi, I'm Stephanie Ackerman. Welcome to the last video in my tutorial series of dies, doodles, and details. I'm going to go back to the original die that we used, which is the large tag die, and I'm going to show you a way to cut foam and create a stamp that you can stamp onto either the booklet that we've been working on, so that you can add in a page to your journal that we've been making, or you can add it onto just a plain tag that you can use in your crafting. So what I'm going to start with is, of course, the die. And I have 5mm foam that I've trimmed down to fit right over the die. And we will use a sandwich, just like we always do. But what I want to recommend to you, if you're using this thick foam, is to always make sure you have a little bit of a lip right over the edge of the foam, as you can see there, so that it gives the machine something to grab on. So I'm going to put this in, and you have to give it a little tug. So usually this is where I kind of use my hips to press it into the machine to get it started. And once you get it started, it just goes right through. Don't be hesitant if you feel that it's not going through. You do have to give it a little bit of elbow grease, but then it cuts out the foam perfectly every time. And again, remember, this could be a template for something else if you want it, so you don't necessarily have to toss it. I'm going to show you how to carve this foam using the tip of a pen and make it a stamp. My friend Heather showed me this, and I haven't stopped doing it since. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use the tip of the pen to carve in to the foam. And I'm going to do this until I have the design on the foam. And I'm starting by just outlining the shape of the tag. Then I'm going to add in some lines, and I'm not going to worry about whether my lines are straight or not. Remember, this is doodling, this is hand drawing, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Now, once I have my whole design in there, I'm going to go over it one more time completely. Okay. I've doubled up all of those lines. I'm going to poke out this little hole here. And you have a foam stamp. I'm going to use just regular black acrylic paint. I've also grabbed one of the already cut tags that we did in the very first video because we're going to stamp on this. I'm going to start by using black acrylic paint, and I am just adding a thin coat right over the whole entire area of the tag. And you can already see those lines. Let me switch this around here. The lines that are already coming out. So that's a good sign. You don't want too much, because if you have too much paint, your paper is going to slide around. But you don't want too little, or else it will dry. Okay. You could do one of two things at this point. You could flip this over and stamp it right onto whatever you have, or I'm going to take the piece that we've already cut and I'm simply going to lay it right over top, and with pressure, I'm just going to make sure that that is all covered, and then I'm just going to peel it off and show you what we have. We have a tag that's been stamped in black. I'm going to set this over here to let it dry. And I'm going to show you how I have used it in my tag book. And I used that white pigment pen that we used before, and I added in a little quote there. And now you have a journaling tag. Again, remember, you can stamp this on any paper and then just cut around it, or you can stamp the paper right onto the tag that you've already cut. So that's just a really fun way to use the tag die in a way that you can make your own stamp. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way, and I am going to show you how I use the Sizzix coloring book, and this is the Artfully Edgy, and I've already pre-colored some of the pages. I cut them down to size because these come, I believe these are 8 by 8, and it wouldn't fit onto the die if you needed it to. So I just trimmed them down, and I spent time coloring all of these pages. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to put 3 in at a time, lay my die down. I'm going to put 3 of these pre-colored pages right onto the die and simply cut this out. Now you can put these into the book that we've already made. You can have these ready so that when you need a card or a tag, you have this already done. But look how great those look already in a shape. So you can do that with pages that you've already colored, or you can simply take pages that aren't colored yet and you can cut them down and add them into your tag book so that when you are ready to color, or when you have some extra time, they're already there and they're ready for you. You can do this with all of the shapes of the dies, not just the tag. This is a great way to have pre-designed pieces that you can add paint, color, stitches, anything that you want, you just add it right in. So thank you so much for joining me in this series. I've had a great time, and I hope that something that I've done has encouraged or inspired you to create a little differently with your Sizzix dies.